studio. It's time for News You Need. News You Need is a look at current events and how they affect the college community and beyond. And now here's the host of News You Need, Dr. Ed Simpson.
Wow. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting semester edition of News You Need. This is the show where we talk to the best human beings in the entire world, which is our USM students. So we have another great panel today, a special panel today, and we'll have them introduce themselves here in a little bit. We also have our regular co-host, Dr. Hale, is with us. So why don't we go around and tell everybody who you are?
Hello, everybody. I'm back again. All right, so this is Dr. Brent Hale, and I also, as per usual, got dragged out of the hallway and brought into the studio and said, you're going to start talking now.
Yep.
So I am an assistant professor here in the School of Media and Communication. I specialize in social media. That's my big area.
Yep.
And next to me
you won't
is-
be assistant very long.
Well, man, we're counting chickens there. All right, and next to me is...
Hello, everyone. My name is Jathan Kamajiz. I am a senior communications major from Laurel, Mississippi, and I'm a transfer student, and I've been at USM for 1 year. Super happy to be on the show.
Hi, I'm Lily Burgard. I'm a co-producer of News You Need with Annabella.
Yep.
I'm a sophomore digital journalism major, and I'm getting my certificate in apparel construction and design.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Is that new?
There you go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Annabella Laird. I'm also a co-producer here at News You Need. I am a sophomore double major in communication studies and journalism, and I am also the Undersecretary of Photography for the Student Government Association.
Undersecretary
Of Photography.
of Photography.
Basically,
Would that imply there is a Secretary of Photography?
I am under the office of the secretary. So there is a secretary of just everything,
Yeah.
and then there's a lot of little undersecretaries. And you know the secretary.
I do know the Secretary, and therefore I'm not surprised there's a whole bunch of
Oh, yeah.
Undersecretaries. Which is hilarious. She's one of our majors. Okay, so so why are we here? Well, this is the show where we talk about what's in the news, and the reason we care what's in the news is that as citizens and human beings, we need to make decisions on the direction of our society, the direction of our government, the direction of our culture, what we want to see happen, what we don't want to see happen. And the only way to make those decisions and have those discussions is to consume the news, figure out what's going on, and figure out how it relates to us and our lives. So let's kick us off here, guys. So very special panel to this week. So we have our producers who are our News You Need producers. So thank you guys for being here. What are our USM students talking about? What's news to our students this week? I know it's very early in the semester. What are we thinking?
I know one thing that's been getting a lot of traction recently was the shooting that happened recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about that in class
We
the other
did.
day,
Yeah.
extensively.
Yeah, we sure did.
Sorry, kind of a grim note to open on. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Yeah,
usually
no.
how the show goes. Don't
It
feel
really
bad.
is. Yeah, if you're looking for happy, upbeat stuff, this is not the show.
It never has been.
No, it never know. We don't foresee it changing. So what we're talking about here is there was a shooting earlier this week in Minneapolis, and it was at a Catholic school during Mass, actually, and it involved elementary students, very young students. 2 were killed, 17 were injured. And so our students are following that.
I would say, yeah, for sure.
And what are we thinking? How are our students feeling about all this?
Well, especially for students in America, gun control is a pretty topical issue. And I feel like for a long time, school shootings seem to sort of be relegated to like high schools and middle schools and elementary schools and stuff like that. But like just last semester, there was one at Florida State University, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of feels like any student is at risk. Like there's no safe schools in America. And so I think a lot of people are worried.
I'm going to ask you, sorry, I'm going to ask you, do you think about that? Do you think about that being an instructor, a professor at a university?
You know, I don't, unless I'm forced to. But I will say this, because I was actually going to ask you guys kind of the same thing. I've never been trained.
No.
I don't believe you've ever been trained.
No, never had any training for that.
We just assume.
I mean, hold on. We've received lots of training. We know exactly what to do. Yes.
I feel so unsure.
Yeah. I have no idea. So it's a very interesting thing, right? We all pretend it's not going to happen to us. Right? Now, and you guys grew up, I did not grow up this way. I do not believe Dr. Hill grew up this way. I have never been through an active shooter drill. Did you guys do that in school?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely. Twice, I believe.
I
So-
actually. Oh, sorry.
So what is it? What do you do?
So, sorry. One of y'all go.
It really depends on the school, I think, because I don't think there's really a great way to prevent kids getting shot necessarily. So they just come up with stuff like get as far away from all the doors and windows as you can, get to one corner, lock the door, cover the glass.
That's
They covered the glass on the like the little panes so
Yeah.
that they couldn't see.
That's basically what
That
we
was really
did.
it.
It was something similar like that. I remember in middle school, it was the day after a shooting happened. I don't remember which one specifically, but we went over a whole drill for like half the class. And I don't remember what it was specifically, but I know it was get away from windows, keep the doors locked, and I know for like at least 2 months we had to lock all the doors to our classes whenever it happened. Not whenever it happened, sorry, but like every day we were
Yeah.
like mandatory. We had to lock the doors.
Yeah.
And my teacher gave a big speech and like, God forbid it never happens, but I laid out my life if I needed to. I'm like, this went places. This is supposed to be biology. I didn't
Wow.
think-
Yeah.
Wow. So, Dr. Hale, you have young children. Do you ever think about this?
Yep.
Do you really?
Yes. In fact, I've thought about it this week, in fact, because, I have one child that's at a school, and I have one that's at a daycare, which is essentially a school. They have a kindergarten program there. And I thought about, so I actually was on, it was weird, because I was on my way over there yesterday to pick my youngest up from daycare. And I thought about, like, what would that be like to get a call that says, come over to the school, there's a problem, and for your child to not be alive anymore. I can't even wrap my head around that. And that's so horrible to me that this is a thing that keeps occurring. And it's horrible to me that this is something that you all had to actually do trainings for. I did not ever have to do one. I mean, you
Yep.
did the other things like tornado drills and fire drills and stuff, but not active shooting
Yeah.
drills.
Yeah, and I have a whole thing actually about the shootings and tornadoes and stuff like that. So I'm in that generation that we did not crawl under our desks to protect ourselves from a nuclear bomb. So everybody probably saw those films.
There was a bomb shelter on my school grounds.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. It was probably used for
Science
storage
class.
or science class. There you go. So give me your thoughts on this. So we are the only industrialized country in the world that has these mass shootings, and we have them on a regular basis, about one every 3 days or so. It's become so commonplace you don't even hear about them in the national news anymore, unless they involve something, quote, unusual, like killing school children or maybe sometimes at a nightclub or something like that. How are we feeling about being the only country in the world that allows this to happen?
I feel like other countries probably look at us and think we are lunatics to have like be the only country that has this completely unique problem. And quite frankly, I think it's a preventable problem if everyone else is not having it.
Exactly.
Surely there's something we are doing wrong.
Yeah. But what is that? What are we doing wrong?
Not regulating guns enough.
Yeah.
That was something we talked about in class the other day. I think we're running out of
Oh,
time.
we are. In fact, we're gonna pick up with a deeper discussion about the solution to all of this on the other side of the break.
Estos son los sonidos de una cena que casi no sucedió. Es una cena servida gracias a personas como tú. Debido a la crisis actual, 50 millones de personas pueden vivir con hambre este año. Feeding America está ayudando a los que más lo necesitan. Y si quieres, tú puedes ayudar también. Visita feedingamerica.org/en-español. Patrocinado por el Ad Council y Feeding America, la fuerza de 200 bancos de alimentos.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain.
Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
So we are back, and we're, as usual, we talked through the break about the things that we've been talking about. So, let's talk about this idea of, well, okay, so here's this clearly a problem. I think even the most rabid pro-gun folks say, yes, school shootings are a problem. I think so, at least, I would hope. But so the solution, what is the solution? We're thinking what is the solution here?
I think tighter regulations on the selling of guns. And that's, we had a class the other day where we talked at length about this. And one of the things that I mentioned was I feel like people don't understand how easy it is to get a gun. I don't know about other states, but in Mississippi and Louisiana, secondhand gun sellers are not required to do background checks on the people they sell guns to. So that is a problem. You can actually go to like secondhand gun websites and they'll advertise like, hey, you can buy a gun for me and I won't background check you. Like I'll just give it to you. So it's a lot easier to get a gun than people realize. And the shooter in Minneapolis had all 3 guns that they acquired legally.
Totally legally.
And definitely, like, on top of that, I think there's accountability to parents or guardians as well. If they own or have a gun in their house, I don't think you should let your child know where it is and how to access it.
Oh, interesting.
It also brings up a deeper kind of question, which I think, like in other countries, as strict of gun regulation, I don't feel like is required. And there's something very deeply American about wanting to buy.
So there's some darkness in the American soul.
Something. I don't know, not darkness in the American soul, but just it's like in other countries they have gun regulations, but I don't think they have to be as strict as we have to be.
That's true.
Do we have, okay, well that takes us in an interesting place. Do we have a culture of violence here that you don't necessarily see in other countries?
We definitely have a culture of gun fanaticism here that you don't see in other countries. I would say that.
Yeah, I don't know that you can go so far as to say that we have a unique culture of violence. Violence exists everywhere. There are more violent places, in fact. And there are places where there are other violent problems, like stabbings in certain places that have gun regulations.
Yep,
and so,
yep.
like, violence isn't necessarily unique to the United States, but we have a unique access to firearms. Like, the number of firearms that exist in the United States is actually just exceptionally large.
Oh, it is. Well, there's more, as the mayor of Minneapolis pointed out, there are more guns in the U.S. than there are people.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, this guy had 3 guns.
Yeah, that is true.
The guy who did the shooting, or the person who did the shooting, had 3 guns.
And I only have 2 children. That's already outnumbered.
There you go. There you go. And I will tell you, there is a psychosis at work here among our political class to watch these children die over and over and over and do absolutely nothing. I mean, that has got to be some sort of black soul darkness on the heart of America, where the political class will not deal with this.
Isn't that crazy? They like between choosing guns and letting kids die. That's like a sacrifice people are willing to make.
They are willing to make.
That's crazy.
I think one of my worst fears about the whole situation in general is that people are getting really numb to it, which is like a horrible thing to think about.
You talked about that earlier, about like people only reporting unusual mass shootings, which is it's very bleak that we have usual mass shootings.
No, that's correct. Yeah, it is correct. And I will, burned in my old synapses is Obama's speech after Sandy Hook. So after Sandy Hook, so Sandy Hook was in Connecticut 10 years ago now, 12 years ago, somewhere around there. But that was the first elementary school shooting. So we had something like a dozen children ranging from 5 years old maybe to 9 years old who were killed in a mass shooting. And Obama's clearly heartfelt, if this won't move us, nothing will. And you know what? It did not move us.
Nothing did, yeah.
I mean, that is something that I guess I'm looking at our young people and saying, sorry, people like me screwed it up. You guys are going to have to fix it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll go. Yeah, stamp on that one. So the counter argument that's often used, right, is that And in fact, I was seeing people posting stuff like this immediately after what happened in Minneapolis. They were saying, well, what we need to do is we need to harden soft targets. We need to find soft targets and harden them. So we can talk about the merits of that, whatever, but let's just assume that you buy into that and you say that we should, in fact, we should have more security measures in place in schools. But what doesn't follow is a willingness to put the investment in to make it happen anyway. So, like, it's to, you know what, this is what we need to do. But then also not give money to make that happen either. Just leaves you in the same place you already were, which is people getting shot.
Well, I actually would push back on the premise. I understand that, and that has been the argument. There's been two primary answers when you talk to the gun folks. Well, the answer is to harden the targets. We have too many, quote, soft targets. Well, that, of course, flies in the face of the world experience. But okay. The other thing they say is, well, we need to have more people who are armed. The answer to too many guns is more guns. So we need to give teachers guns. That's one answer. And I just will push back on the premise. It just seems ridiculous. What a ridiculous argument. What a truly incredibly ridiculous argument. So I am a professor. I am a director of a school. And if a gun person were to come walk through this building, I don't think you want me being the one who's the primary defender. Because as I used to cover cops back in the day when I was a journalist, and they would always tell me, hey, Ed, let me take you to gun range and teach you how to shoot. And I said, well, unless you can teach me to shoot from the fetal position, it ain't going to do no good.
I really think teachers going
Lily just got that. It took a second. But that was actually very funny.
It was very funny.
It was good.
Teachers should not have to go into training or like education to become teachers with the premise that they may have to lay down their lives in a classroom one day.
Yeah, you spend.
And we also see a lot of videos. The onus is always put on teachers to protect the students. And I feel like we see a lot of videos of whenever school shootings occur of like groups of police just standing outside the buildings and doing nothing.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, shouldn't they do it? You know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Boy. Well, anyway, so here we go. Well, yeah. So let's move this to even darker topics. So I did want to. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world. Is there anything else USM students are talking about, by the way? So that
something, and this is not recent or current, but something that I've heard a lot of people talking about recently is Hurricane Katrina because of the documentary.
Yeah.
No, I've heard a lot about that too.
I feel like everyone's been watching.
20-year anniversary. Yeah.
Is that why people? I didn't know there was a documentary. I just thought people started talking about
several.
it.
Yeah, there's a lot coming out, and there's always been a lot, but there's one on Hulu specifically it's really it's like horrible, but it's a well done documentary.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So so Katrina is hanging over us like a dark cloud. So we're used to dark clouds today. So students are. So how are we thinking? What is the legacy of Katrina to our students?
It just speaks to specifically with the levees breaking and flooding the lower Ninth Ward and everything, and that's really what the documentary is mostly focused on. I think it just,
in New Orleans.
Yes, it just bleeds into deeper themes of the U.S. government failing people of color purposefully.
Ooh, okay, well, that's what I want to go to.
And I think that's just a really prevalent topic. Right.
Interesting. So is that how our students are processing the current moment that we're in, the failures of the federal government overall?
Well, yes. I think so. And I feel like one of the things that we talk about in my U.S. Gov class is that on either side, like no matter what, the vast majority of people do not trust the government. No matter if they're conservative or liberal, it was like only 22% of Americans have like full trust in the federal government. And it only goes down. And I feel like every year we get more reasons to not trust the government, especially if you are like a minority, person of color, people like...
I'm sighing a lot today, Dr.
You're not your usual cheery disposition.
I know. What is up with that? I don't know.
The show is so
It's gray
negative
outside.
today.
Maybe like
No, I will say this. Let me say this. I have had I'll just be totally brutally honest with everybody. I have had a really hard time processing the moment we're in.
Oh yeah.
I just have. I mean, it makes me upset. Now, I have not stopped reading the news, but I do understand, for the first time in my life, I do understand why some folks say they no longer look at the news because it's just so depressing, so awful, so we can't do anything about it that they just move on. Now, my argument is don't do that because that's the worst thing you can do. But actually, we just kind of zoomed through that segment too. So we're going to take another break, and we'll try. We're going to be just as dark on the other side. Oh, she wants us to keep going.
No, it's student questions. It's not.
We
a break.
have 3 more minutes.
Oh, excellent. Oh, good for me. Oh, okay, I misunderstood the rundown
We are
again.
professionals.
We are professionals here. This is a professionally run show. So let me throw a couple. Speaking of darkness and ongoing angst and chagrin, I'm going to throw a couple headlines out here at you guys. One caught my eye. We have a table of scholars here. This is from NPR, National Public Radio. Hundreds of scholars say we are close to authoritarianism. And I'll tell you why I think that's wrong in just a second, but I want to hear from you guys. Is that accurate? Are our scholars right? Are we close to authoritarianism?
It certainly feels that way sometimes, the way things are going. Kind of going off what you said with stop looking at the news. I was at that point for a bit just because every day it felt like I was waking up to horrible thing. I just needed a break because I couldn't go on my day just constantly waking up to bad news after bad news.
Yeah.
So with everything going on, it's starting to feel that way just a bit.
Yeah.
I think there's a definite sort of media suppression and censorship that's present right now that has not been present before.
Ooh, interesting.
I don't even think that we're heading into authoritarianism. I thought it's been that way for a good little while.
That was kind of what I was going to say, why I disagreed.
Yeah.
I think we are firmly
In it.
in it.
If you've got people changing history, you're in it. You've been in it for a while.
Yeah, I mean, listener.
Yeah, our one listener.
I know my mom's here right now. Hi, Mom.
So I try, right, when we're recording this, to always give a counterpoint and to push back and play devil's advocate. I think it's very important to be able to do that, even if sometimes I agree or disagree with what I'm saying. I don't know how to push back on this one. I genuinely don't. And I think, in fact, what you just said to me is evidence that scholars are always slow. Because we know this. It is undeniable that there are moves that have happened that are so clearly authoritarian. The images we've been seeing recently of the National Guard with a big poster of Trump on... how
everything
can
in
you
D.C.
not see it that way?
Well, this is, and so I think that's a really good point, Dr. Harris, because I was just thinking to myself that I always try to look at, when you see these headlines that I find so horrifying, I always try to think, well, there's a group out there that sees this in the opposite frame. So when you see headlines, here's another headline, how Trump used 10 emergency declarations to justify hundreds of actions. Okay, so that headline is describing how you become a dictator, authoritarian, right? Okay, we're going to pick up with that on the other side of the break.
Southern Miss Radio and T-Bone's Records and Cafe team up to bring you the Pick of the Litter. That's a new CD that we both think is significant and worthy of support.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
When you purchase the Pick of the Litter at T-Bone's Records and Cafe, you are not only getting a great CD at a discount, but part of your purchase price goes to WUSM. Support your community radio station and partake in great music at the same time.
Oh, gnarly!
The Pick of the Litter is Panda Bear and the new album Sinister Grift, featuring the song Praise.
And so we do another dance. I'll make it up with you. I'm moving and I'm watching how you do.
It's the Southern Miss Radio, T-Bone's Records and Cafe, Pick of the Litter. Great music at a discount to help Southern Miss Radio.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of housing discrimination.
It's so wrong.
But who has the power to stop this?
You do. The law is on your side. If you've been discriminated against because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status, file a complaint with HUD. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
Visit HUD.gov/fair housing. A public service message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Okay, we are back with more darkness and despair and angst and chagrin and everything else going on in the whole world. So I'm just going to finish my point really quick because I guess I can. I do try when I see these headlines to say that there is a group in this country that doesn't see it as dark and despair and taking a headlong dash into authoritarianism and the end of democracy. There is a group in this country that sees that as a positive thing, that they actually see those same headlines and go, oh, thank goodness, we're finally getting something done in this country. Have you guys, is there anybody in your circle that you go, yeah, that's right, that makes sense, and I no longer talk to them?
I haven't had anyone in my immediate circle say anything like that, because that's not really the kind of people I hang out with. But I've definitely seen that just like in general, just in the world. I was in Washington, D.C. this summer, and there was a lot of that. One of the things that we talked about before was the Trump quote of "the people are saying they want a dictator." And we started cracking jokes of like, who's the people who's saying this? But I think there are people who would want Trump as a dictator. There's like such a cult of personality around him. They like just absolutely worship the guy. There's that really viral video of that woman painting a picture on Trump on a stage, and there's like a whole arena of people cheering on her, and there's like worship music playing in the background, and it's just insane. It's the president of the United States. It's not like Jesus.
Oh.
It's just like, imagine if that had happened with like Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter would never let this happen.
No, Jimmy Carter would never let that happen. That's a really good point. Yeah, wow. I mean, there's no question about it. There's this cult of personality is something, you know. But here's the dangerous part of all this is what I would argue. And there's some headlines here. We're going to run out of time, but several of the headlines go to this idea that if the facts don't line up with what Trump wants, the facts get changed. Mm-hmm. And how dangerous is a world like that?
So the leadership that just left the CDC,
yes,
is now saying, "Don't trust the CDC."
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Horrible. That is horrible.
Yeah.
To be, but they've said like the reason we had to leave. We don't have a choice about this. We have to because science isn't complying with what we want to be, what they want to be able to say. So I guess we're out, and we'll find some other people that'll just say what we want to say. That is not what the CDC is for, and that is horrible.
And we also, stuff like that, like the divisive subjects bill, that's been a really big topic at USM, about not being able to teach classes that have subjects that may make people uncomfortable, which the main one being slavery in the U.S. And then the African American History Museum in Washington, D.C. is currently being reworked to paint America in a better light and get rid of things that
slavery wasn't so bad. That's what Trump wants. Slavery wasn't so bad, and that's what his.
Have you seen the PragerU clip that It's an animation of Christopher Columbus where he says slavery wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And it's like this is.
You haven't seen that?
No.
Oh, it's awful.
Okay, so it's the Trump-backed. That's his new instead of
PBS
or PBS
it's
for
PragerU.
kids. He's pushing PragerU, which has it's like she was saying. It's Christopher Columbus being like. The slavery.
He was like, you got to think about it in the context of history. It wasn't a big deal then. And it's like, I know.
Well, oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna have to go ahead, Dr. Hill.
Last thought. Congratulations to the future Mrs. and Mr. Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely! Yay! Right? There's a happy one.
Just had to mention that. I don't
know.
I didn't know that they were.
You know, it's kind of funny.
I keep forgetting about that.
You know what? You know what? Yeah. So there you go. Now I'm not even going to even ask you guys whether you think it's real or not. I don't care. I don't care if it's real or not.
Matter.
I love
Do
it.
people? I didn't know that was a debate.
Don't let this.
I make it a debate.
Yeah, we can debate it.
But here's the other one I wrote down that we didn't talk about is K-pop demon slayers.
I watched that last night. It's awesome.
Is it?
It's actually
I haven't
great.
seen it.
Yes.
My sister loves it. My sister's 22 for context.
I'm 34, so.
I'm sure you watched it like with your kids. She loves it. She's an adult.
Our engineer Kylie's going, yeah, finally a real topic.
This is the real news.
I just watched it. It's amazing.
I've been like.
Did you watch it?
I did. Like the music and everything. It was just like it was so good.
See, in normal times, in rational times, like even just 8 months ago, I would have ridiculed anybody, including especially Dr. Hill, for
Only Dr. Hill.
admitting that they had watched the K-pop Demon Slayers. But now I'm going, that's what the world needs. We need the K-pop Demon Slayers, and we need Travis and,
I saw
and
an article.
Taylor out there doing things.
I actually saw an Impact article, and they post a lot of stuff about politics. And there was one, and it was like, why K-pop demon hunters is what we need in the world right now.
Oh, it's Demon Hunters, not Slayers.
Yeah, it's-
I don't.
Demon Slayers.
See.
Now I will
Not
say,
credible source.
I'm sure I'm gonna get off this. I'm gonna cave at any moment just because of the darkness of the world. But I have vowed not to watch K-pop Demon Hunters, but I think I'm gonna have to go watch it.
I think I am too.
I think I'm gonna have to.
So
go
long
watch
as you land, I was about to start making an argument, but you landed in the right place. We're
it.
good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, we didn't end as dark as we started. Thank you, Dr. Hill, for rescuing this really bummer of a show. But we will be back next week. It's very exciting. And this has been a production of Southern Miss Student Media. Our producers are Annabelle Laird and Lily Burkhardt. Thank you, fellers. Our video producer is Ilabella Michaud, which I got it right. She actually wrote it for me in a thing. And our engineer is Kylie Keenan, who always keeps us between the ditches. And we will be back next week.
This has been News You Need with Dr. Ed Simpson. News You Need airs Friday afternoon at 12:30 on Southern Miss Radio.